What happens when a mortal woman is so gorgeous, even the goddess of love gets jealous? Chaos and a little accidental matchmaking. Let's talk about Psyche, possibly the most beautiful mortal to ever walk the earth. She wasn't Helen of Troy, but this girl was so stunning that people stopped worshipping Aphrodite to make offerings to her. Bad idea. Calling a human woman more divine than the goddess of beauty? This is a recurring theme in Greek mythology, by the way. Aphrodite isn't the calmest of goddesses. Forget the tranquil, birthed by sea foam imagery, and realize this pantheon is all about petty. No human can be more beautiful than the goddess of beauty herself. She was enraged at Psyche because, of course, it was her fault. Like, smash your altars and curse your crops mad. And she's willing to get the other gods to help her. But she's got a brilliant plan. Brilliant for Aphrodite, at least. She calls her son Eros. You might know him better as the Latin Cupid, Mr. Bow and Arrows himself, and says, "Sweetheart, go make this girl fall in love with the first ugly troll you can find. Stat." Eros, being the good little mama's boy he is, grabs his bow and heads down to earth. But when he sneaks up on Psyche to do the deed, he accidentally pricks himself with his own arrows. Oops. And bam, Eros is head over wings in love with Psyche. Imagine him stumbling around trying to be smooth while also freaking out because this was not part of the plan. But Psyche, she has no idea any of this is happening. She's just out there being ridiculously beautiful and making everyone's life complicated. See, Psyche is so gorgeous that no mortal man dares approach her. Like, they're all busy building statues in her honor instead of proposing marriage. Her sisters married off to kings, but Psyche is single as a slice of toast. So her parents go to the Oracle of Apollo for advice. This gal might as well be a villain. Seriously, never go to an oracle. Their prophecies are vague on a good day. This one, though, not remotely vague. Take your daughter to the top of a cliff, dress her like a bride, and leave her there. She's destined to marry a monster. What? But they do it because ancient Greek parents, I guess. Anyway, poor Psyche is standing on a cliff all alone in her wedding dress, wind whipping around her, probably wondering, what did I do to deserve this? And then just as she's expecting some hideous beast to show up, she's whisked away by a soft breeze like, "Congratulations, your Uber to Mystery Mansion has arrived." Where does this magical wind take her? What's the deal with her so-called monster husband? And does Eros manage to keep his little crush under wraps? Stick around because this story is just getting started. Imagine waking up in a palace so luxurious, even Zeus would be jealous. And the owner? Totally invisible. Welcome to Psyche's new life. All right, so Psyche gets carried off by this divine wind and finds herself in the most ridiculously gorgeous palace you can imagine. Walls of gold, fountains of wine, probably a pool that cleans itself. It's the kind of place that makes her home look like a fixer-upper. And here's the kicker. The palace talks. Yep, a literal disembodied voice is like, "Welcome, Psyche. Dinner is served. Don't worry. It's gluten-free." Psyche, understandably, is all, "Wait, what's happening now?" Then night falls, and things get even weirder. She's lying in bed, probably questioning all her life choices when her husband finally shows up. But he's invisible. She can feel him, hear him, but see him? No. She's scared. But from the sound of his voice, he's got that whole deep, smooth, maybe I should just trust this guy thing going on. He tells her, "Listen, I love you, but there's one rule. You can never, ever look at me." And Psyche, who's probably just trying to survive this surreal day, is like, "Sure, buddy, whatever you say." Honestly, it's not a bad deal. Psyche spends her days lounging in a palace, eating godly food, and being waited on by invisible servants. And at night, her mystery man shows up, they bond, and she's starting to think, okay, maybe this monster husband thing isn't so bad. But you know how humans are, our greatest strength and our fatal flaw, curiosity. Psyche's sisters find out she's alive and married and demand to visit. Her husband warns her, "Babe, don't listen to them. They'll ruin everything." But Psyche insists, and when the sisters arrive, they bring major mean girl energy. Wait, you've never even seen your husband? What if he's like an actual monster? Like with scales or 3 heads or bad hygiene? Psyche, who had been perfectly happy 10 minutes ago, starts thinking, what if they're right? What if he's hiding something awful? Forget that she's felt him against her body, right? And that's when they form a plan. The sisters tell her to light a lamp while he's sleeping. Take a peek. And if he's hideous, stab him. Solid advice. Psyche, bless her heart, decides to go for it. What could possibly go wrong? Psyche's literally in the dark, and with her sisters stirring the pot, and the oracle is never wrong, right? It's only a matter of time before curiosity gets the best of her. You think love conquers all, but really, what even is love? The oracle has given her images of fangs and claws, maybe a third eye. So she waits until her husband is asleep, pulls the lamp from under the bed along with a knife, just in case, and she finally sees him. It is no less than the god of love himself, Eros. Oh no! She's staring at the most stunning man to ever exist, like jawline sharper than Zeus's lightning bolts, abs for days, hair that probably smells like ambrosia. This is peak tier hotness, folks. She's thinking, wait, this is my husband? I hit the divine jackpot. Why didn't anyone tell me? But is this love? Let's not kid ourselves. Psyche's ogling him like he's the last slice of cake at a wedding. Meanwhile, let's talk about Eros. Remember, this is a magically induced infatuation. Is that love? He pricked himself with his own arrow, basically fell for the first mortal he saw, and absolutely, Psyche is gorgeous. But let's not pretend these two are writing love sonnets or exchanging heartfelt vows. This is all very physical. Back to the scene. Psyche's admiring the view, but then she gets too close. A drop of oil from her lamp falls onto Eros's shoulder. He wakes up instantly, and it's not good. What have you done? I told you not to look at me. He's furious, and Psyche's just standing there, caught red-handed with a lamp and a knife. So Eros grabs his stuff, his arrows, the shreds of his dignity, and flies off. Psyche's left in tears, watching her ridiculously hot husband literally peace out through the roof. Can't make this up. I mean, you can, because it is, but yeah. And that's how it all comes crashing down. Eros is gone, Psyche's alone, and now she's realizing, maybe I messed up. But hey, this is Greek mythology. You know the drama's just getting started. Will Psyche get him back? Can Eros forgive her? And what can she do to fix this absolute mess? Stick around. Spoiler alert, Aphrodite has not been happy with any of this. To win back her godly husband, Psyche can't just grovel. She's got to survive Aphrodite's divine version of Survivor. So Psyche's standing there, tears streaming, regretting listening to her jealous sisters. But our girl Psyche's not about to give up when she has the hottest husband ever. She's going to ask for help from her mother-in-law, Aphrodite. Now let's pause here to appreciate the absolute audacity of this move. Aphrodite already hated Psyche for existing, and now Psyche's the reason Eros is sulking in his room like a moody teenager. Yeah, this is gonna go over great. When Psyche shows up at Aphrodite's palace, Aphrodite laughs in her face, but she's not one to throw away this perfect opportunity to humiliate her unwanted daughter-in-law. And she starts handing out trials like Psyche's the only contestant on Taskmaster Olympus. First up, sorting an entire mountain of grains, barley, millet, poppy seeds, you name it, it's in the pile as big as Mount Olympus. And Aphrodite's all, get it done by sundown, sweetheart. You'd think she'd watch and make sure there's no shenanigans going on, but she is a goddess, so she's on to other things. So Psyche's crying because she's doomed. How could she possibly complete this? But then, because the gods absolutely love drama, a colony of ants shows up sent by Demeter, the goddess of the harvest herself, and is like, "Don't worry, girl, we got this." And they sort the grains for her. And Psyche's first trial nailed it. And Aphrodite is furious. She has no idea how Psyche completed this trial. But like all mother-in-laws, it's not enough. So she sends Psyche to fetch golden fleece from some murderous sheep. These sheep aren't your cuddly lambs. Psyche's about to just run in when a reed of all things whispers, "Pro tip, wait until the sheep nap, then grab the wool off the bushes." Genius! Psyche sneaks in, snags the fleece, and Aphrodite, still unimpressed. Third trial, collect water from the Styx. You know, the river that circles the underworld guarded by bad vibes and death. Psyche standing there like, "Yeah, this is where I die." But an eagle sent by Zeus himself flies down, snatches the cup, and gets the water for her. At this point, Psyche's just the MVP of divine networking. What does Aphrodite have up her sleeve next? And will Eros see Psyche's devotion through these tasks, or will he side with Aphrodite and abandon her? Oh, you thought these tasks were practical? No. This is pure pettiness. Psyche's told to bring back a jar of beauty to freshen up Aphrodite, as if she isn't already the goddess of hotness. Here's the catch. Mortals don't exactly leave the underworld alive, so Psyche just decides to die. She's about to throw herself off a tower when, surprise, the tower itself speaks up, like, "Whoa there, let's not be hasty. Here's the hack. Take a coin for Charon, some bread for Cerberus, and don't, under any circumstances, open the jar." And Psyche's like, "Got it!" Except, spoiler, she does not got it. And she nails the journey, gets the jar because Persephone's a sweetheart, heads back up, and curiosity strikes again, because of course it does. She's thinking, maybe I should use a little of this beauty cream. Eros might like me better if I'm extra radiant. Surprise! Maybe Persephone isn't so chill, because the jar doesn't have beauty cream. It's got death mist, which, let's be real, might be part of Little Miss Underworld's allure. Psyche, however, can't handle this. She collapses on the spot, and honestly, at this point, we're all screaming, "Girl, can't you follow directions?" So there's Psyche, knocked out, cold, and Eros, he's been lurking, watching this mess unfold, healing up. Is he finally going to swoop in and save her? Will Aphrodite call it quits on her revenge tour? Stick around, because we're heading straight into this chaotic finale. When love is built on drama, there's only one way to end it: divine intervention, and an overly complicated happy ending. All right, let's bring it home, guys. So Psyche's sprawled out on the ground after her beauty mask turned death mist disaster, and Eros, our winged drama king, decides this is the moment to stop sulking. He's been at home having mama baby him, but now he wants to butt in. He swoops in, probably looking flawless because gods don't do sweat, and revives her with a casual kiss. Yep, turns out the god of love can just undo death. Convenient, huh? But don't get too misty-eyed just yet. Eros isn't here for romance. He's here for damage control. He flies Psyche straight to Olympus, marches up to Zeus, and basically says, "Hey, boss, can we fix this mess before my mother ruins everything again?" As if she wasn't not only responsible for this whole fiasco from the very beginning, but also wasn't just babying her pouty son. And Zeus, who loves a good spectacle, agrees. He calls all the gods to witness. Let's make this official. Psyche, you're drinking the ambrosia and joining the god club. Boom, problem solved. Just like that, Psyche's immortal. No more aging, no more pesky death, and most importantly, no more Aphrodite plotting her demise. You'd think Aphrodite would object, but even she's like, fine, whatever, just keep her out of my palace. And so, Psyche and Eros finally tie the knot properly, now that their marriage isn't built on lies, secrecy, and a touch of kidnapping. Do they love each other? Who knows? Psyche thinks he's hot, Eros thinks she's hot, and that's apparently enough for eternity. Oh, and they have a kid, a little goddess named Hedone, which means pleasure, because what else would the god of love and his drama-prone wife name their kid? So what's the moral here? Trust is important? Curiosity kills? Maybe just this. If your husband flies off in a huff, make sure you've got a squad of ants, an eagle, and a talking tower on speed dial. Mythology's messy, but hey, it's never boring. Stay tuned for our next love story, Orpheus and Eurydice.